the old people joining us.
Sorry, pushing you over. No. He's a baby. So cute. Thank you. This next one we want to share with you is a very sacred song and dance for our people. Talks about the Meradin. Meradin in our language represents the star. But it wasn't just any star, it was a special star for when your Nuguru, your spirit, has had its time here on earth and is to travel to a place in which we call in our language Ugaranti Barachi. Ugaranti Barachi represents the land beyond the skies. Now you see in this dance, you see the dancers sitting around in the circle of the bull. Now this part represents the day that my great-great-great-grandfather, Billim, the suburb of Billimba. Billim represents the peewee, the sound that the magpie lark, the peewee makes. And if you look around, there's a lot of other suburbs too, like Toowong. That makes the sound of the stormbird. The sound of the stormbird makes before the rain comes into this part of the country. So Aboriginal people always have that connection to the animals, the totems within the region to share that song and that dance and that story. So this particular story talks about that Ugaranti Barachi, the land beyond the skies. When we've had our time here on Mother Earth, our spirit is taken to those stars. Now if you look at night, you look up in the sky at night, you see the Southern Cross there. The one that they've not put on the flag there without permission. But you know, the Southern Cross there, you see that one. You see the different totems, the emu, nugum. You might see Galgan, the Death Adder snake. You might even see Libban, the big wedge-tailed eagle, the Tuwe, flying across. How it's seen is each star point shapes that animal. And when you look closely, you learn about that dreaming. Sitting around that circle, around that fire, the dao, you see that story painted for you in the stars. Since the beginning of time, the laws of the land, the laws of our trees, our animals, our plants, in which Aboriginal people and many Indigenous people of the world work with the animals, never against. That's how we sustain the world, sustain Australia, this country here, as Aboriginal people. So this one here represents Meradin, my great-great-grandfather's Yora, the stories of the stars.
That's fine. You can publish one other.
See the younger generation continue an 180-year-old songline. Just for our mob makes my heart warm to see our Dargans being able to be given that opportunity to learn that song and dance.
I'll have to have a look at that later, Amanda.
And young people following our footsteps. This next one here represents Mandalgan, the death adder snake. This snake is very patient. To wait hours before feeding, in which it hides under long grass or tree logs and uses its little tail to act as a word to trick its prey, or in our case, the younger Dargan, younger child in the clan that made a mistake of it, for which it him up and try and pick it up. See, Aboriginal dance is all about telling stories to the next generation about the country and the importance of our totems, our animals. So in this dance is to teach our young people when they're travelling through the Yurong Fan, the sandy country, we have to look out for that little snake, that Mandalgan, that burrows themselves in the sand. Now the place just southwest from here, down in the Yugambeh countries, where I also descend from, and the Jimbalans, the families that are dancing also come from, there's a place called Mandullan, and that's the township of Mandullan, gets its name from this language word, Mandalgan. Is that town, its name. So our history, our songlines, our story has forever been a part of our modern day story today. But as we reflect and we see those suburb names being shared and preached everywhere, it's almost like it's being used. No one knows the true meaning. They just say the word for the sake of it being a word. But to us as Aboriginal people, those words aren't just words. Their language has meaning, significance, that us, as the custodians of that law, have to keep that strong within our homelands and our countries. So this one here, Mandalgan, the snake of death. Thank you. Thank you. This next one we'd love to share with you represents Bogoban. You see, Bogoban in our language represents the mountain goshawk, little hawk. You see him flying above the mountains and the rivers and creeks. This song is to represent when it comes into that wet season and the storm bird is heard singing out. Coil cockatoo bird singing out Torang, the rain call to let us know that the big mugara, the big storms, are coming from the west and heading out over the country out to sea. So when we hear that call, we know it's time that we can no longer be in the lower parts of the country, the lower floodplain areas, lower floodline areas, because the river will start to flood. So we travel up to those higher countries, places like Kuta, Mount Kuta, Spring Hill, Highgate Hill here on the south side, all those higher countries. We start to travel up, and we see the goshawk. The elders follow the goshawk, the mountain goshawk, Bugabun, will show us that safe pathway up the ranges so we don't get those flash flooding waters. So this one here, Bugabun, the hawk. Your way. Thank you. So we got the next one here represents hunting of the mullet fish, the undercone or kwan, representing that season when that mullet fish travels up the waters to that warmer water in the north, or up our rivers and our creeks. In our parts of the country where we share this song and dance and catching the portions of the mullet fish that travel through is a place, story shared to me by Uncle Desmond Sandy, the elder of the Sandy family. One of the elders shared to me about the St. Lucia area along the river's bed there, where there was dragnets used either side of the river's bed, dragging those fish into the centre. The song represents how we catch some of that mullet fish that comes up those rivers and those creeks into this part of the country, how we lure those fish in. The women, they have the nets weaved out of lamanga, dilly, or also weaved out of the venom, the pandanus tree, or the reed, to help in catching the fish with the nets. So this one here, one. Second last one before we march off. This one represents a creation one, talking about, in our language we say tagan. Can you say tagan?
Taban.
Tagan in the Yabara language
Taban.
represents the big rainbow serpent, the creation snake,
I couldn't pronounce that
creation
properly.
of all the waterways, the creeks, the river systems, all the nundas, the nyandas, the water holes, all the mountains, the gullies, all that freshwater dreaming, representing that fertile snake, the creation snake. So this one here, tagan.
You're right.
Okay, so we're just going to stand behind everyone so I can have a cigarette.
And the blanket. And they can eat it here.
You just have a cigarette first?
Put it in the smoke.
I'd like to thank you very much for listening and watching our song and dance today. Your way to you all, I'd like to thank all the organisers for today's march. Very powerful to see all our young people, the next generation, putting on that oka, following the footsteps of our older generations, in the way that we have to shout for our rights in this country, to remind people about who we are and the land that they walk on. So I thank you all for dancing here today and sharing. To the songmen, Uncle Woodry and Uncle Josh Walker, I'd like to acknowledge you also, our song leaders and our younger generations of the other tribes and clans have been sharing song and dance here today. So I thank you all. Nani Nijin in our language means see you later, so Nani Nijin, we'll see you both next time. From the Yurong, the Sandy, Giblan, the Sandy family, thank you.
Bye. Say bye, everyone.
I think that's it. I'm not letting anyone else go and try to look to it. Playing in the place for themselves. I'm going to go out and buck. I'm going to hurry out and mill up and Ezra. I'm going to hurry and mill up and Ezra. Yeah. Alright, everybody, good to see you.
I'm going to wrap this one up, people. I might come back on later. See ya.